Today we're diving into an epic Football Manager 24 rebuild with Brest, currently sitting in 8th place in League 1, but after that 5-2 battering by PSG, it's time to take matters into our own hands. Over the next 5 years we'll be transforming Brest from underdogs to absolute giants in French football, and who knows, maybe even dominating Europe along the way. Can we turn this club around, build an unstoppable squad, and challenge for a Champions League? Stick around to find out. Now, this is going to be Brest inside of FM24. Again, I do apologise if I sound funny. I'm incredibly ill at the moment, but I thought Brest would cheer me up. So we're going to go in right now, and we are going to give them a big rebuild. Now, in terms of reputation, they are a 3.5-star side. They've got good training, good youth facilities, and the owners are enjoying life at the club. Now, I hope that means they care about the club and are not just sat back having a couple of cocktails, chilling out, because we have got a big task on our hands today. Now, in terms of the overview, we have actually won very minuscule trophies, but we have won 4, that being said. But my knowledge on Brest, I will be honest, is very, very small. We don't necessarily have the best players in the league. We don't necessarily have the best facilities in the league, but we have got hopefully some potential. Now, in terms of tactics, we are going to be using this 4-2-4. It's never been posted on my channel before. It's one designed purely for this team. If it is a good tactic, I will make a video on it as well. But if not, you know where to go. Over on that Patreon, you can get all of these perks, including the rebuild file and also the tactic. And soon, every single rebuild is going to have a challenge concept to it, where you can go over and pick up the save and carry on a little challenge. So if you're bored of FM24, probably the best place to go over. But let's go over and look at some of these players right now then, because we have got some players who might offer us something. The one thing that I will say I am very nervous about is the fact that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 players in our best 11 that are actually on loan at the club, and some of them are really good players. So if we go and look at the likes of Seema, he's a great player, he's quick, he's got good finishing, good composure, but realistically, are we going to be able to afford him after a loan spell? That I am not going to know. The same can be said for this guy as well. A very good player out on the right-hand side, 25 years of age. Not the best in the world, but for this team, a very, very standout player. And that can be said again for several candidates in this team. So this team on paper might not look anything magical, but I do believe it's good enough to get us inside the top 6. I genuinely do believe that. They're 8th place in real life. I think we can go above and beyond and get the job done. Now, we are playing in 3 competitions, being the French League, the Champions League, and that French Cup. And I would imagine a prediction of top 10 maybe? 9th place, which is pretty fair. I think we can get inside the top 6. That's going to be my aim. Again, if you are playing back home, you would have had a budget of only about 5 million. I rarely sign people in my first window, and today that rule is not going to change. So we are going to go in with this team, with this tactic, with this system, and we're going to see what we can do in Season 1. The big aim's top 6. Minimum expectation, top 10. That's a minimum. Well, let's get pretty excited because Brest are finishing in 2nd place. We're not too far off PSG either. To be fair, we've also got a couple of players that are bagging serious goals, but both of those players are going to be players on loan, so that instantly brings the pressure right back to me. Can I keep these players? Will they stay? Can I afford them? That is going to be a question very, very shortly answered, because without them players, you're nearly writing off 40 goals from the team, and then that 2nd place is more probably looking about 10th place. So we need to try and keep these players. A great season from Paris Saint-Germain, to be fair. Same with Marseille, joint points with us. But for our first season, I think this says more about how good my tactics might be, because this team isn't a 2nd place team. Unfortunately, we do face up against PSG quite early on in that French Cup, and we are going to lose 3-1. It wasn't an expectation to win that anywhere near this part of the rebuild, so I'm not too annoyed. And as for European football, we don't get out of the actual Champions League groups. We get put down into the Europa League, where, to be fair, we get to the semi-finals, where unfortunately Tottenham beat us on penalties, where we would have faced Arsenal in the final, but we must have beaten some okay teams. Sporting, I will take a 5-2 win over them, and the round of 16 we managed to beat Roma, so we can beat some pretty big teams, but of course we're nowhere near the ballpark just yet. But looking at this team and the money we've got, by the way, we did have more than this. We had 14 million left. I think we had around about 30 odd million. I have gone over instantly, no time wasted, and we have instantly locked in players like Ndiaye at centre-back, coming in from Troyes, and also Seema, who has cost me 30 million with instalments, and confirmation on this lad right here, if he does want to join. You can see how many instalments we're doing, and what I'm doing is, I know how limited the budgets are going to be in this window. in this whole rebuild. So I'm going to have one season, which is going to be this season, where I installment sign the hell out of loads of people, get the players into the club, and then accept that we're going to have a couple of windows that are looking very, very quiet, because that's the only chance I've got of keeping these players. There's no chance I could keep any of these paying up front. Looking at it quite simply, some of these players I just have to keep. There's not really an option. You look at the likes of Seema, for example, 24 and 8. This lad here, the other guy who we're trying to sign, 21 and 21, 22 and 8 coming in from Balde, who is going to be one of our strikers. Again, a player who looks absolutely incredible for this level of football. And other than that, I mean, this lad here, 30 goals, 7 assists. He is on loan. Whether he wants to come on the permanent is going to be a conversation for another day, because he is 31, so I'm not that attracted to him necessarily because of the age, but at the end of the day, he is scoring 30 goals. The wing-backs are on absolute fire as well. The good news about that is the likes of Loco is picking up 9 assists, and he is going to be a Brest player. And also we've got Lala, who is picking up 13, again, is going to be a Brest player. So he is 33 though, so we've got to be realistic. Other than that, we've got some okay performers on the bench, 6 and 14, coming in there from Castillo, from the right and left-hand sided player. Overall, this team is actually looking really, really good, but the worrying thing is that a lot of these players are on loan, and at the moment, even based off if this guy does accept, we've only kept 3 of them. Now, the players we have kept, obviously Seema is a fantastic player, very versatile, can also play up front. He was number 1 on the signing list. Number 2 was going to be this guy, because he might not look the best in terms of overall attributes, but he come in, he was quite consistent, and he only cost me, 7 million? So I mean, in terms of centre-backs that can hack this level of football, that have hacked this level of football, he was pretty much one of the best options. So let's go over into Season 2 after, I'll say, quite a promising first season. The second place, we're already into the Champions League, and let's see what we can do. Then, so before we get into Season 2 results, we are going to showcase the business we done. Now, we have lost 3 players, one of them being quite a big name in Jordan Amavi. Now, he is 32, so I'm not going to panic too much. The players we brought in is going to be Seema. He comes in for £30 million, a big signing. £32 million is going to be Remain. He's going to come in, and honestly, he is 27, and it is a fair bit of money to pay for someone of that age, but look at what he has done in his second season. He has somehow improved. The guy is an absolute monster. In fact, how did Seema actually do? 19 and 5, he also improved. That is a very, very good sign that we may have somehow even improved in the French league. We then go over and look at the likes of Ndai from Troyes. Again, a player who isn't necessarily the best centre-back ever, but again, drops a consistent performance over the league games. That's all I can really ask from him. And this window I am so confident in, because every player has done very well. 2 players have done exceptional. Let's go and see what that means for the league. Right then, the Trophy de Champion against PSG, and they're going to get off to a great start there with a header inside of the 58th minute from Theo Hernandez. We are then going to bounce back with Brassier on the ball. Great little touch in midfield into Seema. Little touch over the top into Balde. Great first touch to get us back into the game, literally about 38 seconds after the PSG goal. And we are going to go on to win our first trophy with Lala. We love it. We also get all the way to the Champions League final. That is right, the Champions League final we get to, where unfortunately we only lose by 1 goal, so a very, very close final. We're beating teams here like Madrid 7-6 over 2 legs. We're also going to beat Barcelona 6-4. Round of 16, we're going to beat AC Milan 8-5. I will say we're winning the games, we're conceding a bulk load of goals, but the fact we can even get to a final, beautiful. As for the French Cup, it's going to be a little bit of a worse appearance, as we are going to go out in a 10th round. It is against Nice, and to be honest with you, considering we have won the Trophy de Champion, we've got to a Champions League final, I am not too fussed about the French Cup. Hopefully we've held our league position. Yes, we have, and it is still very close to PSG, only 4 points off winning that French league. And I tell you what, 2 of our players once again are going to be in the top goal scorers. We've got the joint most clean sheets there in second place with Rulli, and I tell you what, we are really putting down a mark on this league. This rebuild so far, it's going pretty well. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, by the way, because this might be one of the smoothest rebuilds we've done. And this tactic, well, the tactic is looking pretty ruthless. Let's go over and see what the tactic done then with the players. We are going to be seeing 16 assists coming in from Lala. I am very happy with how he's playing, but he is 34, so realistically, probably his last season. 8 assists from Loco at left back, 6 and 13 coming in there for Liez. We've got this star boy, I'll say star boy, he's 27, with 25 and 20, 33 and 13 for Simmer, 25 and 8 for Balde, and Castillo coming in with 16 and 12. What I will say is, we have lost a lot of players, obviously, due to contract situations, and our squad is the size of a pea. We have essentially got no squad, so hopefully we've got a little bit of money to obviously bolster some players into this team. I'm hoping for around about 33, 35, 45, 50 million? 50 million, come on. Oh, wow, 9 million, okay. To be fair, I did say, didn't I, last season, that I'd done my instalment window. We're now going to have a couple of quiet windows, so I might dig into the under-21s. Going, let's have a little look, actually. Surely we've got some talent. Surely Brest have got some talent in here. Let's have a little look right now, come on. Here we go, we can play with some of these. We can get some of these lads involved. They're doing decent in their training as well. We'll be fine. We'll promote some of them, get them into the senior team, and we'll be absolutely golden. But Season 2, big dub, small budget, miracle needed for Season 3. Then I've signed one player, and that is purely to add some legs into the team. That is going to be Bazoa. He is going to come in from Lille. He comes in for a total of 7 million. He actually plays a fair few games, to be honest, but I'll be honest, he is not the signing I'd usually go after. He's 30. I've never really heard of him, to be honest, but our budget was so minuscule after offering new contracts. That's all we could really afford, and all that was really interested in joining us for the role that he was given. So although he's nothing big, it is an addition to the team. I don't think it's going to improve how we've done. We might now see a bit of a drop-off in performance. Let's go and find out. Unfortunately, it's not going to be back-to-back Trophy de Champion. We are going to lose to PSG 3-0. I guess our time was coming in that competition because you're never going to beat PSG year after year. Improvement in the French Cup from last season, but it is still going to be an exit in the semis in 4-1 fashion. And a big step back in the Champions League from finalists all the way down to going out in the round of 16, this time against FC Bayern, meaning the only thing that can keep us in a positive mindset would be either first place or second place in the league, and we are going to claim second place, but oh boy, have we had a drop-off in performance. PSG now have a 17 point advantage at the top. Let's go and see exactly what they're cooking up. They have got Luis Enrique in charge. They have also got this team, which, to be honest, Simmons is back in it. Andre, Davies is a big addition. Foyth, Donnarumma. Their team is looking pretty nice, to be honest with you. And they're clearly getting into their dominant era because they are absolutely taken over. So we've kept our league place, but realistically, I'm going to say it how it is. It's a big drop-off in performance. This would actually explain it because, I mean, by the way, somehow, Lala is still playing at the age of 35? 35 with 16 assists is very good. Loco's doing great with 2 and 8, 4 and 10 coming in there for Liez. We've got this man here on the right who is obviously getting older but still doing a decent job with 15 and 13. Simmer 19 and 6, 16 and 7 for Balde, and Castillo with 7 and 6. 6 and 1 for Kamara from DM. It's okay, but the issue is what we've got with this team now is our squad size is too small. Simple as that, really. Our squad size is too small. We cannot hack playing in 4 competitions with a team this big. It doesn't happen. Now, for me, part of it is my fault because I did do a couple of crazy signings at the start, but I am hoping now that we've had a couple of seasons without any real big signings, we might have around about at least 20 million to play with. Let's go and find out. We have got a budget of 32 million. That's more than that. 38 million. I can deal with that. That's a fair bit of money to go and spend. And we can now look to actually improve the whole perspective. We need a better goalkeeper. We potentially, will need a new right back. We're going to need new positions. We're going to need new players, new faces, new ideas. And with that sort of money, we can attract some talent. So let's get in to Season 4 after our first real, to be honest, disappointing season and see what we can do, because I honestly think if we don't turn it around this year, PSG are going to keep getting better and better and better, and they're not a team you want to give free fuel to. Our first signing is going to be Spinny Boy Anthony. He's going to come in from Manchester United. Now, he comes in on the free, and he actually had a great season. 11 goals, 21 assists. This guy played almost every game, and it just goes to show that every player has his home that he can play well in, and clearly Anthony loves Brest. Also going to pick up Hugo. He is going to come in from Club Brugge. Again, purely for an option in midfield. He is 28, so on the older side, but he costs me literally nothing. He played 26 games, 2 goals, dropped a decent average rating, and just for a player to come in and be an option, I'm not against it. Our first paid signing of the window is going to be Diouf. Now, he comes in from Montpellier. Now, there was not too many goalkeepers that I could afford. My big sign and save till last, just to ruin it a little bit. But we had a limited budget to bring in a goalkeeper. And I tell you what, it might not have been a great signing. So I'm going to take it on the chin and move on and just accept defeat. Because the reason we didn't have much money is because I got carried away and I saw that Omega was on the market from Strasbourg. And he went £30 million, by the way, is an absolute steal for him. So I thought, we'll get him in. He has come in his first season and nearly scored a goal a game. So I have zero regrets. I have zero regrets in making a decision. The guy is an absolute menace, an absolute demon. So you have him in the team. You have Anthony with the assists. We've only lost one player in Dembele there who goes to Leeds on the free. I genuinely think we may have cooked. Like, honestly, we might have won the league. When you've got a player scoring nearly a goal a game who's freshly come in, and Anthony, who, let's just remind ourselves, is Neymar in disguise, let's go and see. I'm going to start off with the French Cup, where unfortunately it is still going to be a bit of a disappointment. We are going to go out in the 10th round, this time against Lyon in 2-1 fashion. Throwing it back to another league, and I tell you what now, this gives us one more year to try and knock PSG off the top, or should I say Marseille, because PSG finished behind us based on, is that head-to-head? That must be head-to-head. Everything is tied up. That is absolutely mental. Marseille are going to clinch it by a point, but how about that for a French title race? 3 of our players are in the top goal scorers. This is so obvious to me. The only thing we now need to do is go out and sign some good defenders and a good goalkeeper, and we can win this quite easily. We've got Anthony with 21 assists. We've got 3 players scoring the goals. This team I have built is one for absolute French history. We are such a good team. Let's go and see how we done in the Champions League, though, because we don't need to win it, but it would be nice. Then we're going to start off through the round of 16, where we absolutely dismantle RB Leipzig to put us through to the quarterfinals, where we are going to beat Tottenham 6-3. These games are a lot more convincing. We're then going to get pushed into the semis against Bayern, which, oh no, it's going to be a French final, Brest v PSG. Now, the league, it was neck and neck. It doesn't get much tighter than this. Let's go and see this French Cup final. 1 Champions League, 2 French teams, and we're going to get off to a great start here with Simmer back stick inside of 3 minutes. A great start to any game, let alone a Champions League final. Gavi is going to find Dembele, who gets outpossessed into Simmer. Great ball into Anthony, over the top into Balde. Little touch, take it past the man and slot it into the bottom right corner. A 2-0 advantage inside of 4 minutes 40 seconds, and the action isn't stopping. Anthony is going to find a 36-year-old Lala in the middle, back into Anthony, first time off the post, and it is going to be Simmer who is going to get the rebound and make it a 3-0 game. There is so much drama happening right now, to the point where we are going to find ourselves with another goal coming in, and it is going to be a 4-0 lead in 31 minutes. Xavi Simons is going to step, and he is going to get a goal back in the 42nd minute. But the last goal of this game, does come from PSG, and they are going to make it 4-2, but we have that 2-goal cushion with Champions League winners. That is right, we have won the Champions League in Season 4. Season 4, we have won the Champions League with Brest, meaning our only other accomplishment that we really want to do is win that French league, and we've got one year to get it done. By the way, smash a like on the video right now, because that is a big achievement. In terms of money, hopefully we've got around about the same. 38 million would be ideal. We've got 45 million to go and spend. So that is more than enough to bring in a centre-back, a goalkeeper. Will be more than fine in that regard. But let's go and see what these players done, because I've got to give some credit to these lads. I mean, Omega comes in, 45 goals, 21 and 11 for Balde, Simmer 28 and 15. Anthony has got right into the team with 16 and 29. Beautiful to see. Lala is now going to be retiring, but Let's give a little clap because he might be one of the most iconic right-backs we've ever had on the channel. He's won his Champions League and is calling it a day. I absolutely respect it to the highest level. We've got some players on the bench also chipping in, but I think we've got to take a lot of credit and just say, do you know what? Fair play. You've built a team here with one of the best front fours you probably can have in this league with this team. You're getting the best out of Anthony. Simmer was an absolute godlike signing, and Mega's doing well. I look at the team realistically, and where I'd look to improve now would be goalkeeper, DM, and maybe some centre-backs / defenders. The attack is absolutely ruthless. I wouldn't change a single thing about it. Let's get into the last season. I'm going to be really gutted if I don't win the French League because I'm actually having such a good time doing this rebuild, especially now we just won the Champions League. Let's get into Season 5. Let's go and make history. Just to showcase this, we didn't actually have all of our money from when we looked at the transfer budget in the last window. We still have this left over from our actual budget. So I've not gone too crazy, but we did have a lot more than what we did originally have. So if you are going to carry this on, I feel like someone's come in, new owners potentially, because the money's now here. But let's go into the last window and see how we spent. First up is going to be Scalvini. Yeah, that's right, Scalvini. He's going to come in on the free, by the way, from Atalanta, where of course he plays well. It's Scalvini we're talking about. The fact he has come on the free, this is a sign. I mean, you don't get much better centre-backs. It's almost like the perfect signing. Speaking of perfect players, we are going to welcome in Ryan Gravenberch. He's going to come in from Rennes. His time at Liverpool was a little bit in the game, but he comes in on the free and he plays quite a fair few games. Doesn't exactly light the league up, but he drops a decent average rating. And for a first season in France, I'm going to take it. And once again, the golden rule on this channel, as I always like to say, if a player doesn't perform well, but you brought him on the free, it's literally free income. You could sell him for about 50 million. I'm going to get our man, our big goalkeeper, and it is going to be Marcin Bolka. He comes in, I've never signed him before, for 24 million, and he does a much better job in net. And I tell you what, just having that real quality in net makes me so much more confident that we can be a French league winning side. Spent fairly big on this guy, bringing in Arona. He's going to come in from Arsenal. He cost me 53 million. He had a decent return, not as good as Scalvini, I don't think, but still a very, very good player that can cover right back and also centre back. Now, obviously, our star right back obviously just retired. This guy's going to come in, and the fact he can play two at almost a perfect 5 out of 5 star ability, golden. And lastly, we are going to pick up Kaiki, another centre-back, really bringing in several options now, a player that can also play right-back. He comes in for 23 million, doesn't play too many games, but realistically, he was the backup out of the entire signings we've done. And look at this window. This might be one of the better windows we've had. Unfortunately, we have lost a player we signed pretty much towards the start. Didn't really work out in the end, but we have replaced him with much better, so no hard feelings there. And going into the last window, you've added in a great goalkeeper, Gravenberch, Scalvini, a good centre-back come right-back, and a good backup right-back centre-back. I think we can win the league. Am I nuts? Let's go and find out. First chance to win the UEFA Super Cup. Unfortunately, we are going to fail our one and only opportunities. We fall to Manchester United 2-1. In terms of the French Cup, we have never really hit the ground running in this regard. We're going to lose to Rennes this time in the 10th round. It's far from ideal. Champions League, it is going to be another French matchup, which we are going to lose against Marseille in the semi-finals, where, do you know what? I feel like we could have beaten them and got ourselves into another Champions League final, but it doesn't matter because we have won the French League with only one loss, that being against PSG, and we actually just get it done. I mean, 2 points is going to be the difference, but that is going to be all she wrote. All the trophies that I wanted to win, we have won the Champions League, the French League, and obviously, of course, some other trophies as well. We have done such a good job. I am so proud of how this team has done, and this is a season that I am happy to sign off on. I've improved the team tenfold, and your challenge, if you are going to carry this on the Patreon, is to win the French League, Champions League, and the French Cup in one season, and you've got 3 more seasons to make that dream happen. You have got a budget of 48 million, more than that actually, 57 million pounds, and you have got We Love Brest. We have got the We Love Brest tactic, the 424, the game save file, everything all in one over on the Patreon. Make sure you do go over and get involved because there is tons of people, and if you do complete the challenges, send me a picture of you doing it because because there's some sneaky prizes on the horizon. So let me know what you think. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's rebuild. Before we do sign off, can we just admire the team we've left? That front four is absolutely beautiful. Great team, great quality, and honestly, I'm going to say it, Anthony's won me over. I love him. I'll see you in the next one.